This is Guru Nation After Dark. It's
Cheers.
been if it's only been a month, but it feels a lot longer because of what's been happening. My emotions were all the way from extremely confident to scared as shit, and then now I'm somewhere closer to confident. There's a little element of surprise, of uncertainty that I think everyone's dealing with. Most favorite nation thing, I don't think that gets passed, but it's definitely something to think about, think through. This direct to consumer platforms. So first of all, I don't think Europe's raising their prices. They use what's called price referential pricing or something because they're publicly subsidized. So they're never going to raise them. So if this were to happen, Charlie Munger, someone I follow, he says to go, you should use the
Still,
inversion model.
wait, you still follow him?
Charlie Munger? Yeah, his book is amazing. It's right here. His
Okay.
book got me into philosophy.
You speak with the dead.
I don't speak. Well, yeah, through the book, I guess I do, man. Man,
Good.
you're getting deep.
Too
Yes,
soon
his
for that. My
his
gosh.
his words live on.
There you go.
He has this thing called the inversion model, and somewhat related to. So the inversion model is flip something on its head and think about how that could get screwed up, whatever thing you're trying to invest in. So for us, it would be clinical research. If you flip it on its head and you think, what's the worst possible outcome? And then somewhat related to that is the take the other side of the argument and be able to argue that side better than that party can or that side can. So this is like his inversion model. So if we go with the inversion model for clinical research industry in the United States, of course, like Robert, you're a sponsor monster. Everybody knows you a sponsor monster.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
by the way. That was
Cheers. Cheers.
a
Cheers.
great SOS panel, right?
Can
You
we
don't
tell
get
people about the T-shirt for next year? Or maybe not yet. No, not yet.
that's up to
Not
you,
yet.
man. I'm willing to
Nah,
put it out.
I think we should hold on to it.
All right, yes, you have to have your own T-shirt next year.
Yeah.
But you are the sponsor monster. Do you want to take the inversion? I personally think this is all pointing towards bullish for biotech
Mhm.
because they're nimble, they're able to move quickly. They're not gonna if MFN were to take place and drug prices slashed 80% here. I think biotechs actually make out okay because they can adapt. But like
Sure.
invert the model and destroy this from a small sponsor perspective, like small sponsor get wiped out. How does that happen? What needs to happen for that to occur?
Well, I think look, it's the acquisition, right? It's the M&A. It's the gobbling up of the actual innovation in our industry. I'm just saying if you look at the small pharma, small biotechs that are actually the true innovators, what happens to those companies? Like seriously, name 5 companies that have brought drugs to market that are 50 or less. I'll wait.
What do you mean by 50 or less?
50 headcount or less
Oh,
in the company, right? Typically, when you get to a strong phase 2B study or you get to a phase 3 situation, large pharma comes in and they pounce and they acquire. And
Sure.
whether
They partner, or they buy out,
or
or they
or they license,
I, I
they do something in small biotech,
sure.
sits back.
That's
I'm just saying.
the common occurrence. But I can think of one company that was small. I don't know if they're still small, but they're still
Chris,
independent.
I said 5.
Yeah, I know. I can think of one.
Well, all right, but that's my point. You just proved it. So to invert that, Dan, right?
Sure.
You asked how do we invert that? That's the inversion, right? So if you take away the ability from big pharma to acquire M&A to push things forward, and by the way, with dried up funding, right? Then that's going to completely crush the innovation in small pharma, small biotech, because funding and capital markets as they've been, it's nothing new. Let's not pretend that it is. It's always been a challenge. Money was on the sidelines, and for a moment, people thought it was coming back. I mean, like Dan, I heard you on a pod earlier with Chris. Like it's changing week to week, right?
Yeah.
Every week, it's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot to be said around, VC and PE money and who they're investing in, what they're investing in.
So you're talking
Obviously,
pre-public biotechs.
Pre-public, absolutely. Those are the trailblazers. I've said it at Scope. I said it at SOS. I've said it at AUA. I've said it at ASA. I've said it at many conferences this year. and I'll
Well, there's
stick to
also
it.
there's the public one. So there's like the 60 million, 70 million market cap that do have 50 employees.
Yeah.
But I think 50 is too little. I mean, maybe that speaks volumes to the way this industry works. Is even like a $60 million market cap company, which is considered tiny. I mean, that's almost a penny stock, right? Would be 50 people head count easily.
But the question remains, do they, in this context, do they have approved products, even though they're public?
No, they don't have.
That's my point. Look at Summit Therapeutics. It's a great example.
Jason
they're
says
not
Immunogen.
okay. Immunogen, fine. I mean, look, big shout out to Axsome Therapeutics, right? They're one of the few who actually did it when they were small, but now they're commercializing and they've scaled to they're a larger company now. But I'm saying, guys, we can count them on two hands at best.
Right. Yeah, because as soon as
anyways,
you get something approved or close to approved, like pre-commercialization, cough, Aquestive Therapeutic, there's already the pharmas are already out there trying to partner, trying to license, trying to buy out. So they don't let them last too long.
I mean, guys,
even obscure things like Neiman's Picks, that gets picked off right away.
Dan, I'm in male contraception, for God's sakes. Male contraception. Think about that, right? I mean, that is a problem that's been trying to be solved for the past 65 years.
Male birth control.
Yeah, male birth control. I mean,
women all over are applauding you.
Thank you. I mean,
when I ran this by my coordinators, they were like, thank God it's about time.
Right?
This birth control is driving me crazy.
See? So I'm just saying, like, talk about a niche market. You don't think, I mean, there are certain organizations out there that just can't wait to chomp at the bit, Thank goodness our leadership team is very, very strong and believe in the mission, and we want to see this come to market. So we
but
can
how do you destroy the biotech industry? I guess that's really what I'm asking.
Well, I think it's exactly what we've already said.
Take away funding, take away the liquidity,
take away funding, take away the liquidity, take away M&A, take away profit margins from big pharma, take away ability to
So the argument would be Trump's trying to do exactly that with his executive order.
Well, Dan, I think it's a little, I don't want to get political personally, but I'm just saying, like,
it's unavoidable these days.
No, I hear you, but I don't think that's what he's trying to do. Personally, I think that it's.
I don't either. I'm just steel manning the other side.
No, for sure. Which is good. We need that. Yeah. But I think he's targeting certain medications. I don't think he's talking about the NDA that just got approved. That's in phase 4 of post-market surveillance. That's groundbreaking, and because you have your exclusivity. I'm talking about. I mean, he's probably referring to, why are insulin prices so cheaper over. Even though we think insulin's cheap. I mean. It's an example, like Ivermectin. I mean, just like normal approved drugs that are even generic are still 10x more expensive here. Yeah, when you go across to Mexico and you grab metformin for the heck of just having metformin, like cheap. That's a perfect example. So
$40 for like a 3-month supply, I think.
Yeah.
Now it's cheap here too, though.
Well, it depends on what you think is cheap. To somebody who it's all relative to the person.
If you're insured,
right.
If you're insured, it's cheaper. If it's generic, it's cheaper.
And then you got these different PBMs where like GoodRx and all these things.
See, that's where I think the PBMs. I think Trump's actually attacking the PBMs without saying it. Like
I agree.
If you look at their statements today, and I texted this to. They said something. RFK stood next to Markey from the FDA, who I'm trying to get on the pod, by the way. Maybe we'll get him on After Dark.
Yeah. Big shout out to Dr. Markey.
Yeah, him and Prasad, who wrote this book. We got to get into. He's the head of CBER, so he talks all about surrogate endpoints. I do want to get to that. They talked about getting rid of the middleman, and that's code for a PBM, because that's the one who's really. I think Lilly, Novo, J&J, they would love to sell you the drugs. They would make the same money.
Direct to
consumer.
Guys, right? Every successful business, I mean, like, let's talk about meat sales. Let's talk about
Nike. Look at shoes. What they're doing.
Right? That's why everything is going direct to consumer, cutting out the middle guy.
Yeah.
Or woman, whatever you want to call it, being politically correct here on After Dark.
When it's bad, it's guy. When it's good, it's woman.
Chris is on mute.
I was about to sneeze. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Bless you, man. I'm about to ask you how sites. Chris, Inversion, Charlie Munger, I speak to the dead. Inversion model. How do clinical research sites get destroyed? What's the recipe? What's the formula for that? U.S. clinical research sites.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too difficult. It's some sort of incapacitating issue for pharma, right?
I love Lilly, by the way. We
And
love Lilly.
sure, Lily's one of the best sponsors. But anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if big pharma gets wrecked, they're responsible for most studies. I tend to think that would certainly affect the research sites.
But like specifically, how would you destroy research sites? Where
Well, if
we
there's
are
no,
not
if
needed.
there's
We are
sure,
not needed.
if there's so I don't mean to always go back to the GFC, but in 2008 there were few
You
studies.
love the great financial.
Well, it's a good comparison, right? If something like that happened, but say a couple times worse, right?
Yeah.
Say double that, bye 80% of sites.
You think they come back in a year?
No, I mean, how long until studies came back? 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, like 3.
So that's about all it would take. Some sort of serious issue for pharma that they
financing crisis.
Well, just where it just doesn't make sense for them to pursue R&D.
Chris knows about financing crises, Dan. I mean, he financed our hats over here.
Chris, thank you, Robert.
I mean, I'm
very
sorry.
Very funny, guys.
These are not just. These are like authentic. Thank you, Chris.
Chris lose. I had to go look most expensive hat I could find, then it's the Dodgers custom World Series last year champion. Thank you, Chris.
Chris,
welcome. You're both very welcome.
1990 Lions hat, Chris.
Those 90s throwbacks are legit. Those are the ones that they're actually hard to find too.
So Chris knows all about financing.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
If you want to make
you just had to get that in there, huh, Robert?
I had to,
man. I forgot why we're wearing these hats in the first place.
Well, exactly. I don't typically. I mean, usually I got the backward hat on, and I'm just proud of this particular hat here, Chris.
There you go.
I actually keep it next to my bed at night.
I'm glad I could help you both out.
So, Chris, the recipe you just proposed, is that not the executive order?
I mean, it is, but it takes more than his executive order. It takes the mandate of Congress, right?
Are you rooting against Congress in this case?
Do you expect it to be codified, Chris? Do you want it to be?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't care too much either way. But no, I don't think it becomes law. I think pharma has too many lobbyists to prevent that from happening with bought and paid for politicians. That's my personal belief.
All right.
And that goes back to at least the late 1800s, early 1900s. I think shit started to hit the fan during that Great Depression, right before that.
1913, 1918?
No, 1929 and then 33.
No, I'm not talking about the Depression, but when things started to hit the fan. 1913 or 18? What was the year? This specific reason, right?
Coolidge was in office.
Central banks, 13 or 18?
Oh, the Beast from Jekyll Island, 1913. Yeah. Federal Reserve. Yeah, you hit a nerve right there, man. Lisa said, no, my shoulder is not okay, man. I need peptides. Lisa says, Lily Direct. How many sponsors? I need peptides for this shoulder. I did a pull-up contest with Dr. Joe.
Well, that finally happened?
Yeah. You didn't hear about it because I lost. So if I would have won, I would have posted it all over the place. I lost by one freaking pull-up.
Really?
And that one that I couldn't get.
You popped something, huh?
It wasn't worth it. I should have just lost the dignity. We had a pull-up contest with this guy who trains, like he does pull-ups every day. I did it hungover. I showed up hungover.
And he's thin.
And he's like,
man. His A1C is 4.7. He posted on his door of his office. He's our PI. He posted he's our sub-I. He will be a PI soon. He posts his A1C on his door. So every patient that comes in sees his A1C. So that when they analyze theirs, he's like, listen, if I can do it, that's the kind of guy I went up with.
And for you that are, or for those,
and I did it hungover.
And for those that are not a diabetic, or that are a diabetic, he is not a diabetic. He's just very proud of this A1C, right?
Oh yeah, 4.7. Yeah, he pasted on the
That's
wall.
killer.
He eats lettuce for dinner and breakfast and lunch.
Seed oil. He would love Marque. Actually, if we get Marque on, I'll have him on for sure.
Does he
But
love
they have
sunflower oil?
no. He hates that stuff.
I'm kidding.
Okay, I thought okay. Good. I
And
was
he,
gonna
and
coach you before he comes on, Robert. Don't
he
No.
obviously hates carbs and sugars and everything else.
everything. But anyways, that's where my shoulder hurts.
All right.
Lisa says I run walk now. Okay, so this Lily Direct. There's something here with. I think this will make drug companies go direct, as to the extent that you can. I mean, I think the telehealth will be there. He does wear a CGM for sure. Telehealth.
Who, Dr. Joe?
Yeah, Dr. Joe wears a CGM.
Does he really? Okay.
Yeah, he knows every food how it triggers his glucose. It's
It's
crazy.
probably not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, and that's actually speaking to this topic because the good ones are made by AbbVie, and the Libra or Libre
The Libre 3.
Libre
Yeah.
3. I had one because an MA felt nice and gave me one like a year ago. You do learn a lot about what you eat, how it triggers your blood glucose. If you don't have diabetes, that thing is like $1,000 a month to have it. If you do have diabetes, it's like just a copayment. It's like $15.
Speak for yourself.
How much is yours?
$300 a month.
$300 a month?
Well, excuse me, not that much. $300 a refill. I just refilled it today.
For 3 months.
I told you I
what's it
couldn't be on the
actually?
meeting because I had to go get more of those.
Do you have the Libra 3?
2.
Okay.
And it's $600 without insurance. My insurance only pays for half of it.
Yeah, because you're self-employed, so you have to pay If those were to go direct to consumer, like Lily, and you get rid of the PBMs, that would be like $80, because that's probably what AbbVie gets out of it, and they would sell more because people would be more comfortable to just ask for it on a website, and then a doctor sees them for 10 minutes on a Zoom and says, "Yeah, you get it." So we have a special guest coming, by the way.
We do. In about a minute, hopefully he pops on.
Is he ready to get into this political banter?
He
doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
I don't think he knows what he's getting into coming out to an After Dark. But I got to tell you, I've seen this demo, and I think the audience is going to find it insanely cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's guys, I'm telling you, when you see this, it's pretty wow. And I know I've been posting a lot about AI, sites using AI.
You've been posting. Listen, man, you've been on a tear lately. A few of your posts have gone viral. Your last one, I was going to comment something. Actually, I could read it while we're waiting for the guest. Let me pull it up, actually, because I actually didn't read the whole thing. I know you ended it with.
It's a very simple message, but people are.
I know you ended it with "proceed with business as usual" or something.
Carry on, rant.
Oh, carry. There you go. Yeah. Carry on. When ChatGPT, hold on. Let me preface this with something. Somebody from a large, hello to our guest. We have a very special guest coming on really quick, but let me tell this story. And then Lisa, I want to ask you about who's already doing it. So Instagram, I get message a lot. People work for Pharma. This is a big pharma. Hey, I just got hired. I realized I don't know anything about oncology, blah, blah, blah. I felt so lost today in the training. What can I do? Do you have a course? I said, no. Like 10 years ago, I would have made a course for you. Right now, we don't have a course, but why don't you use ChatGPT and Grok to teach you? And I told her, you need to know RESIST criteria. And you need to know, RESIST, and you need to know CR, complete response, partial response, stable disease. Like those are the basic things you need to know. You need to ask it for those things, and you need to have it teach you. And here's what I said, because I remembered from SOS. I remembered people like Mike and people like Dirk who disagree with Darshan. I said, you're not supposed to do this. I prefaced it with that. So I think I'm illegally covered by Darshan would say yes. You're not supposed to do this, but I would upload the protocol if it were me and have it train me on the protocol in relations to, and I knew you would hate this. That's why I saved this story for you. So nobody knows, Robert. No harm, no foul. She becomes a better employee. She doesn't have to pay anyone to learn.
Oh man, Dan, you're making my skin crawl.
Sponsor
But
could
again,
care less.
Yeah.
It's not like it's top secret. I mean, who
What do you
cares?
mean sponsor could care less? That is absolutely untrue. That is
Okay,
absolutely
so
untrue.
all right, so break
Sponsor
that
for
down.
sure. Sponsor for sure cares.
No, I don't
Again,
think the sponsor does. I
well,
think your sponsor does.
here's the bottom line. I hear what you're saying, and it's all it sounds nice.
It's practical, pragmatic.
It's practical. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you.
But again, look, a large sponsor who's got, God forbid I say
Endless,
funds.
unlimited.
Oh, kill me now, they
Wait,
may
say it again.
be
Unlimited funds.
unlimited funds. They may be less inclined to give a hoot. Okay.
Right.
But
and that's who it was. One of those.
Fine. Not to say that the right person at that organization might really care. Okay. But to your point, it's like people are doing this stuff at the site level.
Yeah, people would do it whether they ask me or not. Whether I tell them.
Again, when we talk about laws or we talk about regulation, like Chris and I have had this debate, and we agree on this. Like, I don't mean to bring like guns into the equation here, but it's like when we create more laws or gun laws, like law-abiding citizens, like the three of us, are going to follow those laws. The people that couldn't give a shit about those laws are still going to continue to break those laws, right? So all I'm saying here is that, sites need to be careful about uploading confidential information, which is intellectual property that's owned by sponsors, to train public LLMs. It's that simple. It's a breach of the CDA. You're giving a leg up to competition. Dan, I can tell you, like I've been searching high and low for information on different large language models, and it is unbelievable. I'm like, where in the world are they getting this information from? And somebody somewhere, under the notion that you suggested, who's gonna know? It's just it's one person, one site, one protocol to become better at their job.
Right.
Can seriously leak intellectual property and give competition that were really far in the rear view. Like, wow, they're so.
Oh man, I mean,
Dan,
I think OpenAI is pretty responsible, and
oh really?
Not to have data leaks,
Yeah.
or at least not to purposely leak.
That's why 15 billion records and health insurance and people's social securities have been leaked over the.
That wasn't from a company like OpenAI, though.
No, it wasn't. But stay tuned. Unless we figure it out now and have these discussions.
Right.
Look, it's a very simple message. It's really not something like to debate. It's really just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. I agree with that. I even told her you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, and there needs to be some. Yeah, but it's not going to stop it. You're right. I agree with you. But I think the call to action, the reason that these posts went kind of crazy,
yes, that's
is because people thought people are doing this, like, and they know they're doing this, and they're trying to defend it. And it's like, no, there's no defense, because at the end of the day, when a sponsor decides, whether it's small, medium, or large, decides to actually take action, and there's litigation, you are going to learn the hard way, and that's all I'm saying.
It would be almost impossible to prove. Number one,
audit trails are forever, Dan.
Sure, but no one's going to learn that way. I'm telling you, all willing to bet a hat on that one. What's more likely to happen? Like this boils down to people's sentiment towards pharma, and I know biotechs are different. We should treat them differently, but they end up getting acquired. The successful ones, they get absorbed by a big pharma. Big pharma. I know we all work in this industry. They are the most hated industry out there. There's not even a close second.
Well, why?
Maybe
why
PBMs. Maybe PBMs are first.
Why do you think that is, though? It's because of their prices, right? Because they're a for-profit model, and
I think it's a lot of reasons besides price. Because
is our special guest here or not yet?
Our special guest is here. Let's bring him on first, and then let's get back into this, because Chris, it's getting spicy.
Because I mean,
Cass, my God, Cass,
how are you?
It's been a hot topic on the translations front too. Yeah, there you go. Upload your documents.
But the reason I want to bring our special guest on is because this is an actual AI technologist. Like,
I got him.
Like,
He's been patiently waiting there.
I'm
Listen,
telling you,
you caught us mid. Okay, so we got Hiroki. How's it going, man? Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've just been laughing at you guys talking the whole time in the
Thank you.
backstage. here.
I'm like,
That's the
can we
usual
bring-
reaction.
Can we bring the AI technologist on here to like?
Yeah, what do
actually
you
get
think
some-
about this, man?
You
Like,
guys also
whose side
didn't
are
tell
you
me
on?
that everyone's gonna wear a hat, so now I have to.
Well, you got to make a bet with Chris, and then you'll
Hiroki,
get one.
yeah, you got to make a bet with Chris, and he'll buy you one. You
Yeah,
just
it's like
pick
a
out your
free
favorite.
hat. What is
Oh,
that?
I see. I
So,
see.
What kind of hat you got there? What is
You
that?
know what? It's I think it's a healthcare startup called Tia. It's focused on it's like a women's
Alright.
primary care
There you go. How do you
company.
get that?
All right.
Man, you are
No
you are
relation to the
connected-
company whatsoever, but you know
You're
they're all over
connected
LA.
to the right people to get that kind of merch. This one I had to get retail.
I mean, I don't
But
know.
you didn't
I
have to
was
pay
listening
for it,
to-
so same
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, Chris had to pay for it.
I was listening to a lot of what you guys were saying. I like a couple of points. So one, when you're talking about like how did these models get this information in the first place, it must have been because employees have been errantly uploading it and stuff like that. That's extremely unlikely because these models were trained on information that existed that predates a lot of the models being online in the first place. So,
Okay.
but if you go on clinicaltrials.gov, and I've done this exercise, a lot of large sponsors have uploaded their protocols over the last decade. I mean, some of them will even upload them a year or two after the fact. So they're pretty recent. There's like a huge amount of publicly available information, despite the fact that at one point it was IP. They do redact some of that stuff, but for the purposes of model training, it's largely irrelevant. So I don't think that that's the thing. The other thing is, you know, they
What
have,
I'm hearing is you're more on my side than Robert's.
I don't know. So
I just got to get the win right here.
it's
No, not to interrupt you, Hiroki. The thing is what Hiroki is saying is if a sponsor chooses to like declassify, aka make their IP no longer IP and
Sure.
upload it.
Well, then it's free for all. Yeah.
But that's the point. So that's what Hiroki's premise is on. It's not me on cutting edge research of male contraception. Some site gets a hold of my protocol, uploads it to some public
Yeah.
model.
And
Like,
you know
that's
what? Like virtue ethics are subjective. Like me as a person, I would feel worse doing that to a smaller biotech, even though it's the same crime, right? Than a big one. Let's say starts with the letter PF or a M, right? Like I almost don't care in those cases, especially if I was an employee. But if I were like a consultant or a contractor for a small startup where I knew the founders and I was more embedded into the DNA, yeah, it means more in that case. There's something to be said there too.
The other thing is a lot of these almost all of these large providers have paid versions where if you have an agreement with them that it, you know, they won't use any of the data that you share with them for training purposes. So, I mean, from a legal perspective, go ahead.
How do I validate that, what you just said? Like what do I do in terms of threat modeling? How do I elicit or extract exactly what you just said and prove it to my QA? Because it sounds great what you just said. Like you're a very likable guy, you're believable. But like
that's a great question. I mean, I don't personally use I wouldn't personally use them, but that's for different reasons than this conversation specifically.
This is after dark. You can talk about anything.
I'll get into that.
Yeah, no one's watching
in a second.
anyway.
But at the end of the day, right? What you're asking yourself is fundamentally, in my opinion, no different than can you trust Microsoft or Azure or AWS with any of your data that you're constantly putting in it anyway, right? Like you don't go in and no one's going in and validating, you know, the AWS data center to make sure that your data is actually encrypted or secure. I mean, a lot of people do. If you're a big corporation, surely you're doing that. But 99% of SMBs and mid-market are not going through that exercise. And because they're not going through that exercise, at some point, you know, there is the bottom level legal.
And why? Because if you're affiliated with a Mag 7 or whatever they're called these days, you know, they already have that taken care of because of the regulatory pressure that is put on them. If anyone gets audited, it's those 7. And OpenAI is going to be in that top 10 or whatever.
And then the other thing is that if you think about like risk surface area, sure, if you are the first company to work with, you know, any of these large language model providers, maybe you're a little bit concerned about the data privacy and security. But if a Fortune 100 company is going to put their crap in these systems, right? I guarantee you that the entire CISO, CISO, CTO suite had to do this entire end to end. And these companies aren't going to have more secure models for these large companies. It just doesn't work out economically. They have to have pretty much the same security model for everyone they serve, unless they have like, it depends on the SKUs and stuff like that. But you get the point. So these general purpose products are going to usually be fine. So if you're not the first mover, which most companies aren't, I don't really think it's a serious risk. And the last thing, and this is kind of the patient data argument. By the way, this is not at all my general opinion about whether or not you should do these. I'm just making a case around security.
Where we draw the line, patient data, we don't put that.
You should put patient data in, but
I've had it.
But what I'm trying to say is it's kind of similar. These language models are not too different than when people want to be compensated for their own healthcare data, right? People say, oh, my healthcare data is valuable, I should be compensated for it. But the reality is no one really gives a shit about your specific like biomarkers or you specifically as a person. What they're looking for are population trends. So individually, no one's data is really worth that much. And in the same way, uploading a protocol, it's not worth the hassle of them trying to go and just parse all of it out and use that as part of the training like material. It's much easier to just go and get everything that's publicly available, open, free, not worry about any of the legal hassles, train on that stuff, and then kind of use that as the primary system. So that's kind of my general view. On that note, though, if you want to be super duper secure and stuff like that, you can always host your own models, right? So a lot of very good state-of-the-art models are available open source. You obviously have to be a little bit technical, but then you can always host them in things like AWS Bedrock, where it's basically secured to your own network. You don't have to worry about any kind of data exfiltration. The companies themselves have no control over it. You're basically just burning GPUs in an AWS data center, and that's the most secure. And so that would be where I would go. Like I would expect that minimum that I would expect that to be the minimum of what you would work with when you work with a kind of AI focused company, is that they're running their own GPUs or they're running their own models in something like AWS, but not just.
Why did you not speak at SOS? How did we not get you at SOS?
Well, Hiroki couldn't come. I tried to get him to come last minute. He had a conflict.
You were sorely needed on our stage, man, on our panel.
Well, you're now.
Look at the range of emotions within 4 minutes apart on Guru After Dark. Accurate, followed by 3 minutes later, question marks. So that's the range of where the consensus is on this AI topic. Hiroki,
by the way, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Say.
I was just gonna say I think what you were suggesting about learning is absolutely a great idea. See? And if you happen to be paying for any of these,
let him finish.
Especially if you're paying for the system and you have the actual contractual legal agreement that they won't train your data. Because I'm in Rob's camp. If you're using the free systems, by the way, the stipulation of the free versions are that they can use your data for training. So you absolutely cannot, should not, under any circumstance, upload your own any kind of data into those systems. As far as I'm concerned. But assuming that you have
the free version. Chris, do you have a paid AI or the free one? See, okay, you can't do it.
And then pay, and then also go into the settings and make sure that you get the legal agreement that says that they won't train it, and then make sure you export the.
All right.
So make sure you do all of that stuff. Assuming that you've done all of that, I actually think that setting up your own training courses is one of the best use cases, especially for some of the more advanced models. I'm not too familiar with what OpenAI does, but I know Gemini, for example, does really good deep research, and it will actually create a bunch of sources and links for you to learn from.
Gemini's the best. They just have a real innovator's dilemma over there at Google.
I think at this moment, I'd agree. They're probably the best for many use cases, although none of them are perfect for clinical research, which is what I've devoted much of my time to fixing.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I got to think about that one.
So
LOL
of AI,
driving. Speaking of AI, Robert,
Yeah, I think Hiroki should tell everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Hiroki, introduce
Guru Nation.
who you are.
Yeah.
Your company. I know you've been talking like 15 minutes. We didn't introduce you formally, so I apologize. But if you can please introduce yourself, and then I have a special thing I'm gonna play. 1 minute. Is it a demo that I'm gonna play?
One of our teammates made a quick overview video, and I thought it was pretty snazzy. So I think that's what we'll be using here.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm Ellis Hiroki. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called StudyOS. We're really in the business of making clinical trials easier, and we do that through what we're calling the first ever clinical trial agent. Essentially, you can think of AI, but specifically built for clinical research. At this moment in time, we're really focused on data quality review and sponsor oversight. We really focus on enabling sponsors to ask questions about their study, ranging from things like operational questions to safety questions, to have complete transparent oversight of what's happening in real time over their study. Currently, a lot of the way we do this is really demoralizing from my perspective. It's a lot of logging into 5 different systems, exporting a bunch of different Excel spreadsheets, making a bunch of pivot tables, and then going and yelling at your CRO. And I don't think that that's a great way to run a study.
Does that sound right, Robert?
Sounds like Robert.
That sounds like me. Yeah.
Sponsor monster
I don't know
for a
where
reason.
Hiroki got that from.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. So it's really focused on being able to ask, people love to use these AI systems. No one's going to learn how to use SAS. No one's going to learn how to use SQL. So what we really do is enable people to ask questions about the study and be able to pull in the data from these different systems in real time and get those answers, like things like AE rates and so on, everything related to the study. Eventually, though, we do hope to build this system out to be just a general purpose assistant for clinical research. So eventually, we hope that it will live in things like your inbox and be able to process regulatory documents, make sure that they're up to speed, work with different translation vendors, as someone had mentioned in comments. Basically, build kind of the agentic suite of AI, but for clinical research.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. So
yeah,
I'm
so
going
as
to present
company,
it.
I want to, before we play it, Dan. So
Yeah.
I just want to, I have worked with Hiroki in different capacities and have the pleasure.
We've interviewed on the pod before.
We have, and
been here
I
before.
wanted to bring him. I wanted to bring him back because what they've developed now is and look, I've been ranting about AI, but not in the context of the way that Hiroki's using it. But
Here go,
I have to tell
Hiroki.
you,
Free booth, man. Free
There you
exhibit
go.
booth. Let's go.
you're already getting the offers. Hiroki.
Let's
All
talk
right.
to Hiroki at endpoints at this cancer center
Make
summit.
sure you
Let's go.
connect with Hiroki after this
Yes.
this podcast. But I do want to give a big shout out to StudyOS. They've created an AI agent called and it's guys, it's amazing. Literally, like I can ask Ash anything that I would ask of my CRO or CRO, and I can just say like, hey, how many AEs are ongoing that have an end date?
Okay, so from a sponsor perspective, this is
even
tool.
a CRO perspective, a site perspective. Dan,
site
there's a use case for everybody. I don't know where Hiroki is in the development of this product, but what I'm
Okay.
saying is it is incredible in the sense that for me to answer that simple question I just asked, right? Or how many AEs are recovered with a missing end date, vice versa, right? I mean, for me to pull down that data and figure it out site by site, subject by subject, line by line would take hours upon hours. And so that's just one really, really small sliver of what Ash can do. Ash is your literal AI agentic clinical trial assistant that doesn't take a coffee break. It works 24/7. And it learns the questions that I continue to ask it dynamically over time. No snacks.
No snacks.
Wow.
So it's really, really cool. So with that said, I think we should hit the demo.
Yeah, and Serena, this is the email. Hiroki,
There you go,
want to go to the
Yeah.
23rd
All right,
Cancer
sounds good.
Center
I'll
Summit?
be sure to reach out.
Let's do this. Is it in a good location, Serena? Let us know. Or is it Oklahoma City? That was good. All right, here we go. I still have sinuses from Oklahoma. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
I'm going to maximize it. Here we go.
In clinical trials, collecting data isn't enough. You need to understand it quickly, clearly, and all without getting lost in the noise. That's why we created. You can ask Ash anything about your study data, from AE trends to site outliers. Behind the scenes, Ash runs through every relevant data point, step by step, and shows her full process so you can trust how she got there. And in moments, the answer is right at your fingertips. Want to know which subjects are missing key endpoint assessments? Ash finds them in seconds. No more waiting a couple of business days for the answers you need. In this example, we ask Ash how Site 005 is performing. Ash allows you to interrogate the data, so you're never left guessing before critical monitoring, data, or safety meetings. She gets how trials actually run, from enrollment to safety and everything in between. Ash is always on, always ready. Your 24/7 CTA who never takes a coffee break.
Site 005 is a problem.
It's a big problem.
La Jolla, by the way. Who can turn down La Jolla, man?
Oh,
Come
La
on.
Jolla's beautiful.
I'm in the neighrood. I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, there
Absolutely.
you go. Just
I'll be
drive down the
there.
5.
Yeah, drive down.
All right, glad we made a connection. That was a good demo. Now I imagine it would have to get connected. So from a sponsor, if I'm a sponsor, I can give you connectivity to our vendors like metadata. Let's say we're using EDC. I could give you all that stuff, but the one thing I may not be able to give you are my site's Creo, right? Or real time or whatever e-source they're using. Would there be an opt-in or an option for the sites to use that? Like, is there a freemium for the sites if they use it, like an incentive, or how are you
So
guys working on that?
Right now, we don't have a site-facing option, unfortunately, although I really desperately want to. I think so. The system is actually system agnostic, which is surprising. So we can work with any system that we have access to, and we can even live in the email inbox. Now, if we were to work with an e-source vendor, for example, and we had access to the study data in the database, you'd be able to ask Ash questions about your study just the same. This is also the case with ePro. If the ePro vendor wants to work with us, we can also do that. The way it works is we basically train the model so that it understands clinical research data specifically, so it doesn't hallucinate, and so it also understands things in clinical research, like what does it mean for a patient to be screen failed or discontinued, and so on. So we had to put a lot of reps to make it kind of understand clinical research because it's just so very unique. And I think the last thing is there's so many dashboarding vendors in the industry, but then for whatever reason, actually I know the reason, dashboards kind of fail. And the reason business dashboards fail is we spend so much of this time going from programming to validation to having a dashboard, and then it instantly becomes useless. It becomes useless like 1 month into the study because everyone realizes the actual questions they need to ask are different. And so what we really tried to do is limit the amount of time from people who know what they're doing and who know what they're talking about, clinical operations, to getting insight. Because right now there's like a hop, skip, and a jump, right? It's clinical operations question, then they have to go to data management, and then clinical programming, and then IT, and then the data, and then they have to go make
this thing Ash, the reason it's different from a dashboard is it has a search bar. You just type something in there and you could see
whatever you want to know, Dan.
Whatever you want to know about your study.
That's
like
smart.
imagine
That's
that,
smart.
right? I mean, it's absolutely, it's groundbreaking. And for me as a sponsor, you know, and I'm already risk averse coming from, you know, small biotech. I have this now option that is working alongside me. I've now reduced my FTE headcount by, you know, something significant. And I have this agent that surfaces problems to me in real time. I can ask it questions in real time. And I have a plan of action. What do I do with this information now, right? Is it a retraining opportunity? Is it a trigger visit? Is it a risk assessment? Is it, do I make the data tier 1 to tier 2 or tier 2 down to tier 1? Like I can take action with this information, and it's just very powerful. So that's why I wanted to have Hiroki on this.
I like it, Hiroki. No, this was good. Robert, I think we got a new segment now on this.
I'm telling you.
After dark. We've graduated.
The AI segment?
Guess whatever you want to show. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm trying to get Monday.com as a sponsor. We've started implementing Monday, and just the first paid tier, which is just keeping track of who's doing what and on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. It's been amazing. I can't believe that's a white space no one touched within our industry that I had to go outside and get.
I actually know a couple of people. I was gonna say I know a couple of sponsors who are using Monday too. Actually,
sponsor, yeah, but for the sites,
that's true.
Patient Ace, shout out to my boy Ronick. He's telling me we might have the capability to pull it off ourselves for the site. So stay tuned for that. We should have Ronick on next.
Yes,
Ronick.
Robert's a fan of
Ronick. But yeah.
Ronick is great, but I think we should have Ronick.
So the first 5 guests should be Robert is a fan of, and then the next 5 Robert is not a fan of. I think that'll be good.
Yeah, but how do you market? How do you market that one for the 5 that are not a fan of Robert?
Those are easier to market than the ones Robert likes.
No,
Robert fights Robert versus whatever.
Okay.
Congrats,
so Hiroki. You have a question there.
Yeah, congrats, Hiroki.
Yeah, I see that.
I have so many questions. You mentioned you collab with various vendors. Can Ash work with sponsors to do TMF oversight? Can it provide insight on TMF health, completeness, blah, blah, blah. And then David, thank you for helping me out, man. We need Monday. Everybody go reach out to Monday.com right now.
I do like Monday. We should work with them.
Yeah, we
should. Cassandra's question, yes, in the sense that it can report out metrics on the TMF, but we don't yet have it living in the inbox. At some point, what we really want to do, though, is have Ash live in the inbox so that when you're collecting all of your reg docs or different information over the course of the study, it can see, the 1572s and the DOAs, and it can go back into your TMF and say, oh, we're actually missing these for training for this specific PI, or so on and so forth. Because that, to me, again, is not it's low level work. I think it's work that it always needs to get done. People make mistakes, and it's things that we want to reduce so that we can focus more on kind of building collaborative relationships with our partners and less on just these like really nitty-gritty small things.
David said, I'm going to subscribe. I don't know if it's to Monday, Cassandra's thing, or Ash
Guru After Dark.
Maybe all three. Guru After Dark.
Maybe it's
Dave,
everybody.
you should already be subscribed to Guru After Dark. Maybe all of them. But thank you, Hiroki, for coming on, man. I think you did a good job. I think everyone should go connect with Hiroki. He's someone that's very knowledgeable in the space, and we got to get you, since you're in LA, we got to get you to the SOS Orange County meetup in July. All right,
Okay.
no, sorry, it's in August.
I'll be there.
August this year in Irvine.
Got it. Oh,
See you
I'll
there?
also put this out there for your listeners. I'm happy to answer questions about AI. It has absolutely nothing to do with BD or anything else like that. I feel like there's a lot of opinions out there about how things actually work. Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
misinformation.
you gave a very
and
good rule.
so on.
I
So
think you
happy to
gave
answer questions.
He gave a very good rule. Must have paid version, and then double check your settings that you're protected.
And he was very clear that you shouldn't be doing exactly what I'm telling people not to be doing.
Or you
Then-
can if it's paid
Sure.
and your settings are turned off. May
Yeah.
or may not have heard it here, but Irvine, we will see you.
Yes.
Hiroki?
Sounds good. Yeah.
And then La Jolla, would Serena see you? You're gonna try?
I'll reach out to him. All right.
If you go, you'll get one sponsor. I think you'll get a sponsor there.
All right.
I think
Sounds
you should
wonderful.
go, man. Let me know how it goes. Thank you so much, Hiroki, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Nice
Bye.
meeting
Hiroki,
you.
thanks, man. See you, buddy.
This was a good idea, Robert. It's
I'm
like
telling you.
bringing
Do
a
Do I
new
click leave
level of.
studio? I'm sorry. Do I click leave studio or just close the whole thing or what? Or was that the
Yeah,
side?
either way. Yeah,
Yeah, either way. No,
he's great, dude.
Hiroki's dude. Listen, he's a really sharp guy. He's
But yeah, we
got
had
a
him for an hour on the podcast.
Yeah. He's got a Microsoft background. He's really
Mhm.
built an incredible tool that, I mean, look, I'm using it.
He
I'm
managed to
learning
agree with you and me simultaneously.
simultaneously, which is not easy to do. Well, sometimes.
The next
Yeah.
time, wait, I got a request. Next time Hiroki's on, we get Dr. Hazen on as well.
Why?
That-
they would
that-
they would agree.
Well, he's got a Microsoft background.
You want to take After Dark down the rabbit hole?
There you go.
All
I
right.
don't know. Ready?
Now we got the neon, Dan. Now
No.
Dan,
I don't
Chris
think
is getting-
After Dark is enough. We need like a full moon, blood moon After Dark. It's only like once every 4 years. I don't think we're ready for the Hazen on regularly.
That would be fun.
Hazen with Dr. Al is a good combo. Remember
Yeah,
that one?
that was fun.
Robert, you missed out on that one. Man.
Yes, that was
Man.
a whole lot of fun.
Peak
Guys,
COVID.
I'm still waiting for Maureen to get on this episode with us.
wanna
Oh,
get
that would be
Maureen?
fun. That would
Wait,
be fun too.
So we turned
Now
down.
that
her
we have
study.
the pink after dark, I am
Yeah,
ready
yeah.
for it is time.
There's no
But-
conflict of interest. We turned down her study, so
Correct.
we're just too busy. But so yeah, we can have her on. Did you take the study, Chris, or no?
Maybe they're moving
Okay.
very slowly. They
What
are
is-
interested in working with Sahedi though.
Why? Why would you do that?
Can you get her on? You talk to her more than me now.
Yeah, next
Guru
time I'll talk
Nation,
to
you
her.
would love. I don't know. We'd probably get.
Yeah,
no
she's part of
money
the she's part of the industry. She
Our-
works within
our-
the industry.
Dan, we
I
Robert.
agree with Dave though. We need a Monday.com sponsorship. I've
Yeah.
reached out. Okay, so those are the next guests. I'm trying to get Vinay Prasad from the CBER, head of CBER. You actually said you wanted to bring something up to him. Is there anything in particular for CBER? We can make
yeah,
this a short and send it to him.
not at the moment.
Okay, Chris, anything you want to send to the FDA or CBER?
I want to turn people in.
Who do you want to turn in?
Robert.
You want to turn in Robert? Robert's so compliant, he won't even upload a document to a website.
I was just joking.
I gotcha. Serena says, great work, guys. I don't know. You guys want
Chris is
to
just
talk
mad
about
about
anything
that.
else?
It's all right.
Chris,
That's right.
Keep
Payback.
making those bets, man. We're gonna have
Actually,
a
listen,
stack of hats.
I do have a lot. Gosh, if we could get Sieber on, I mean, that would be
Vinay,
incredible.
he's a tough one to get, but
yeah,
I'm working on it.
yeah. If
I don't
anyone
have
would do it,
I don't have like a real assistant, so just me for the content stuff.
what
But
do you mean Gemini is your assistant? Get after it.
no, I use a OpenAI. I should use
Dan,
Gemini.
I think Dan is referring to Brad Hightower's success with
Yeah, he got next week. I think he's getting the former FDA head.
Yeah.
Shout
I
out
saw
to
that.
Brad.
That's
We try to
awesome.
get Brad on after dark, but he's his family with the family at that
And
time.
it's
Sure.
2 hours
And it's
later there
late.
too.
It's late. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
it
it's
is
really
after dark.
in the East Coast.
It's true.
so.
Yeah, it's truly after dark. Dave LaHaye, I think we should get you on.
He
Cass,
is on. He's on right now.
well, on after dark. Cass, Dave, if you want to message me, man, while we're still on. But otherwise, anything else you guys want to discuss?
Well, you did say you want to talk about surrogate endpoint. Is that too heavy
Okay.
for right now? I mean, I don't want to. I mean, we
It's
can keep it
heavy.
light.
Okay,
can keep
so
it
what
light.
I will do, I think everyone, the responsible thing to do, we have a new leadership at the FDA, whether you agree with them or not. So there's Marty Marquet, who's the head of the FDA, and he's got a book called Blind Spots. It's on my queue. I'm listening and reading to Lyndon Johnson book, but Blind Spots, this one right here, Marty, it's only 10 hours. And then you have a surprisingly easy read with Vinay Prasad, and he's the head of CBER. So you got the head of the FDA and the head of CBER. If you read their latest books, you could get great insight into their thought process. If you are an investor, so I'm reading these primarily as an investor.
Okay, Dan, what is CBER for Guru Nation? In case
Center
like,
for
what's CBER?
Biologics and Evaluation Research.
Good. Okay.
Again, I'm reading number 1 for the purpose of an investor, number 2 for the purposes of a content creator, number 3 as a site owner. We don't work with that many trials that are involved with CBER. We do enough biologics, but not that many. But I think from the standpoint of an investor and just a content creator talking about trends in the industry, for me, it was a must read. But if you're a site owner, if you're an oncology space, it's a must read. If you're in the vaccine space, a must read. If you're in the biologics at all, must read. You have to understand these guys are there for the next 4 years at least. You got to get in their head and understand what's important to them, because that dictates where we're headed, more or less. So yeah, I'll do book reviews too. But no, the surrogate endpoint, I think that's like you need another hour.
Okay, fair enough.
Plus, I'm not qualified enough. We would need Dr. Al Jazairli on here to discuss, and maybe Dr. Hazen to have the good counterbalance to his very pro academia mindset.
Fair enough. Chris is
Anything else?
finishing his-
Anyone want to come on? Dave, Cass? DM me, Dave and Cass, if you want to get on real quick.
We were about to talk about the FDA before Hiroki came on. I don't remember what we were about to talk about.
They have a podcast. Well, apparently, so I posted this article about the FDA having a podcast, and then there were a few people.
Yeah,
who
I
have been
did
laid
that
off.
episode with you.
That's right. So after
And Robert watched it.
Robert watched. So
I
I
did.
turned that into an article after much revisions with AI and my brain a little bit. Posted that. A few people got laid off. They were kind of disgruntled. They said, well, the FDA's had a podcast for a while. And I said, the fact that I didn't know it existed, because I actually clicked those links you sent, and it's not something I would listen to. It's just people reading press releases, basically. There's no opinion.
Not an open conversation.
Not at all. You can tell it's all scripted.
Scripted.
I'm not interested in that. If you listen to Marquet and them talk, Chris, we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling the cameraman Bigfoot.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
it's
was
almost
hilarious.
like After Dark what they were doing.
Well,
That's the kind of podcast. That's the kind of transparency that we need.
well,
Dan,
what?
before-
Wait.
before-
Oh, go ahead, Robert. I
No,
want
I was
go,
just gonna-
go.
I just want to give a shout out to Joey Castellini, my
Who's that?
buddy.
Okay.
Listen, this is
We have a
guy
buddy
who-
named Joey too.
Yeah, he's a scientist. He's the man, and he just sent me a message. He's like, "Did you just take a shot?" And I
We gotta
said,
take
I
another
said,
shot. Hold
I
on,
said,
let's get
absolutely.
some more bourbon.
And
No,
then
no, Chris,
before,
you gotta go.
before
Chris,
we,
go and get it and come back.
and before
All
we
right.
do that, I want to talk about the fish doorbell. Remember I told you about the fish doorbell?
Yeah, I still don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, I know, but Joey is single-handedly responsible for interrupting 50% of my productivity during. So when things don't
virtual
get done,
doorbell.
yes, no, this is like
No, you need to turn
Yeah.
that shit off.
no,
Joey,
no.
you gotta stop buzzing Robert, man.
I'm telling you, this thing is addictive. It is the best thing ever.
Wait, is it like Monday? We use
No,
Monday at the site now.
What you do is you watch this YouTube live stream, and it's an underwater camera, and on the side of the screen, there's like this doorbell, and so you're watching this camera, and if you see a fish, you hit the doorbell, and like you can let you can let the fish go like upstream, and you have to identify what kind of fish it is. So
Wait, is it real?
this is
It's
real.
a real
No,
fish?
this is a real fit. No, Dan, this is real. This is like.
So how do
this
you
is
let
li-
how do you control the upstream
There-
of the fish?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but listen, this is the best story, right?
All right.
So Joey's in the lab working, doing his thing, and he like finally sees a fish, and he freaks out. He's like, "Holy shit!" He's like, I saw a fish, you know. And as he does that, his hands go flailing, and like just spills water everywhere, all over his keyboard, like all over the table, everything.
Man, where's
It
the
was-
productivity? No wonder Trump wants to slash prices 80%. You guys are clicking fish all day.
All right, you're talking shit about me. What are you saying?
Actually, this time we weren't. It's somebody named Joey.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
wonder
we're-
Trump
we're-
wants to
Talking
slash
shit about
prices.
Joey.
Can I please?
I
show
gotta
you
get
guys
on this thing.
I got it. No, listen. I'm gonna put the link, Dan.
All right,
do
we're
me a
gonna share
favor.
this.
I'm gonna send the link in the private chat.
Maybe Trump's
if
onto
you-
something with this
No,
80%.
Just click this, and let's just share. Let's show Guru Nation what this is.
Okay.
It is the most
Did you spot a
addictive thing
fish?
ever. And by the way, Joey just sent me something not too long ago. He actually just saw a fish, not like literally.
Well,
Here's
we might get lucky and see a fish right now.
I see fireflies. What the hell are we looking at?
Hold on. Here we go. Fish.
I already
Is
clicked
this it?
on it.
So there's the doorbell on the right side. This is
Okay.
a live stream. Obviously it's dark. This is the Netherlands. You're in the Netherlands.
Looks
okay?
like fireflies or something.
Well, it's underwater like smegma or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, this is
Guru
underwater.
Nation. This is some
This is-
pollution here.
Okay, so but Dan, here's what I
I
want to
think
show
Greta
you.
Van Thornberg's got some point with the environmental stuff. This is water.
So this is the greatest thing ever. Okay, hold on. So Joey's like messaging me, and this is what Joey just sent me. How do I? Here, actually, Dan, I've got to show you something real quickly.
This is where the R&D dollars are getting spent, folks. Look, they're trying to click on a fish.
No, Dan, look at this. This is absolutely incredible. Are you ready for this? This just happened. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it
Hold
or
on.
not?
Let me share your. I'm still looking for a fish over here.
No.
Oh,
This is
all
the
right.
fish. Joey just sent this to me. Look,
Hold on. How do I? Oh,
This
let me
is-
remove this and add this. Hold on. All right.
there's the fish. Thanks
That's
for
a fish?
ringing the. Dan,
Yeah,
look
the
at this.
scales, and it's got its wing thing.
So you can see
Ah,
that
that's
was
really up close.
at 4:00 in the morning. So 4:26 right now. I mean, how long ago was that?
I guess it depends how much bourbon you had. Your reaction times. Does that thing?
I'm
okay,
just
I
telling
see
you,
it.
when you see a fish, it is the most it's amazing, dude. I saw
Okay,
a
but
school-
okay, break this down. You guys do this all day at your work?
They watch the
Wow.
fish camera.
Trump has got a point, guys. I think Trump's onto something.
And I'm
Marque,
wondering
Are you
why.
trying to say there's lots of wasted money?
Alicia, can you
She goes,
imagine?
"Oh wow,
Like,
Alicia." I mean,
we are not telling our coordinators about this shit.
watching
No
cameras.
way.
for
They're
fish?
never screening
in the
anyone
wild?
again. They're just catching fish all day.
Not even catching, because then they could eat
Yeah.
them. They're
But-
just
but here's
watching
the thing.
for them.
Nah.
oh, there's Joey. Look, he just commented.
That's my fish. All right.
That's my
Look,
fish.
Joey, good job, man. Alicia has a good question. What's the
Well, I'll
purpose
tell
of
you what the purpose is, and I was educated by Joey.
To waste government dollars, I think.
No, because listen,
After Dark? Cass, After Dark is lit. It's
They're
not like
paying-
anything
They're
else.
paying 2 people to watch the fish camera.
But this is like Trump's got a point. Congress better not be watching this. They're gonna vote for that shit to be approved.
but listen, here's the thing.
Yeah,
Like
waste
when I'm
more money.
stressed out or I'm like aggravated, I literally turn on the fish doorbell, and it just has this sense of calming. I don't know how
Oh,
to
so you can
explain
turn it on.
Yeah, you just like I have it in my bookmarks, and I'm like, what's going on with the
Oh,
fish
good.
doorbell?
So-
I need
Oh,
like
so
a
you
mental.
so you have this in another window
Yes,
while you're working on Susars,
correct.
and then if somebody sees a fish, your doorbell rings.
Yeah, but the problem is you have to be so fast to get the screenshot, and that's where Joey spilled the water.
That's why your
He's like,
screenshot's shitty.
yeah, well, that's Dan. That's not my screenshot.
Oh, that's Joey. Okay.
That's Joey's shitty.
Command Shift 4. I would lose this game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Alicia wants to know what we're sipping on.
So I got me some. Shout out to MedVector. I almost forgot. Rowan's Creek.
Oh wow, is that bourbon?
Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Yeah. What about you guys? I know Chris got wine in a plastic cup.
This has been a long time in the making, but this is
El Cielo, Cielito
El
Lindo.
Cielito Lindo. Yep, El Cielo Patrona.
Okay.
And I've drank a full bottle of wine. I should have just brought the bottle up here and drank out of it.
Man, yeah, that would have been good too. Fish doorbell, the jam. Okay, you know what? I have the website here. Yeah, I'm not gonna share it with my coordinator. I already have enough problems going on right now. We can't be adding fish to this thing.
Oh man,
unreal, guys.
Wow. Look, Dan. It took me at least.
So I've been watching my screen here. I think I'm sharing it, right? Can you guys see?
No.
So
hold on.
So wait, the doorbell is how you
I've
take
been watching this shit for like
right?
20 minutes.
No, Chris. The doorbell is
you have to take a screenshot.
You have to. So Chris,
like right here.
Dan,
when I hit the doorbell, it brought up a bunch of fish pickers.
Command Shift 4. I took a screenshot, but there's nothing.
No. Right? Dan, hit the doorbell, even though there's no fish.
Hit the doorbell. Oh, that's a screenshot. Okay.
If you hit
Command Shift 4.
If you hit the doorbell, it'll ask you.
Wait, is this like a lie? Like, where is this?
It's in Netherlands.
Dude, the pollution there is off the chains.
Yeah,
Greta Van Thornburg has got a. The more I watch this, man, the more I see the other sides.
But literally, when Joey sent me this, I'm like, "Are those sperm? What is that? Am I looking at a microscope slide? Like, what is this?"
First doorbell is the jam. Yeah, Alicia, this is what we can do, and we're searching for PI. We gotta go find fish when we're stressed.
There you go.
I kind of get the idea though. You're like stressed, it's a long day.
And listen,
let me
by
look
the
for
way,
some fish. This
do me a favor. Tomorrow when you wake up, look at it during the daylight, and you're gonna see it's kind of a murky green.
But this is Netherlands though, so it should be dayed over there, no?
Well,
5:46 a.m.
It's the sun's coming up soon. But the point is, if you're up and you take a look at it and it's daytime, it's actually very tranquil. And then when you see a fish, it's just mind-boggling when you see the fish.
Because it's real. Like this
you're just like, holy shit, a fish just
this gives you something palpable for when you're working at home all day, fluorescent screens. You're like part of nature here because here's a cam of some river in Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
Like this is real.
Maybe Joey can tell us where this river is, because I would look. And by the way, look, there's 475 other degenerates watching. Did you see that?
Watching right now. I saw that. Yeah.
And Dan, I've seen it as high as
more watching this than our live stream.
Thank you. I mean,
how do you get way more views?
How do you make any sense of that? So, by the way, in the daytime, there's like over 2,000 people watching the doorbell for sure. And it gets so busy that they have to take the doorbell away. You can't even ring the doorbell if you see a fish.
You just gave my OCD something new to target.
Yeah. Let me know when you see a fish and text it to me.
Oh, so that's how Joey texted to you?
Yeah.
I thought the doorbell rings you somehow. Okay.
I mean, that's next level.
That's next level. That's like the social network AI, connection. Yeah. That's what they should do if they want 4,000 viewers. All right. I like this, man. Chris, are you going to be using this fish thing? Fish. Chris is there negotiating budgets, man. He's not looking for fish.
Or I'll go do some real fishing.
That's some real. Okay.
Where are you going to do real fishing, Chris?
Not in California.
Huntington Beach.
All right. Oh my God. Did you see what
just went by? Huh?
Oh my God.
Right when I took it off, huh?
Robert jumped out of his seat almost.
That's what I'm telling you guys. Don't have any liquids around your desk. No, it's too late, Dan. It flew by.
No, it went away. Hopefully it comes back.
And it's military. So it's 5:40 in the morning on the 14th of May, which is, where we are, guys. It's still the 13th of May. Sun should be coming up in what, an hour?
Yeah, 6:40. Here it comes out at 6:40.
Okay.
No,
Well,
here it comes out earlier actually.
Damn, we're at 5:15. It's getting sunny out.
I got a newborn, man. I'm up early. I could be doing this, catching the first fish of the day. I'm up at 2. I'm up at 4 again. I hear him crying right now. 3-month-old is no joke.
It's no joke.
Anything
you're,
else?
You're halfway
Anyone,
there. Halfway there. It gets better
halfway
in
to
three more months. You're out of hell.
Well, and then you get to the terrible twos, and then
Cass.
you get-
Yeah,
Okay,
none of that's bad.
Cass, let me
No,
invite
it's
that
not
Cass.
terrible. Okay.
It's nothing like
Cass.
the first 6 months.
Cass,
Okay.
if you want to come on, here's the link. Haven't talked to Cass in a while. She's got a conference coming up too.
It has been a while.
Who's going to that conference? Chris, you going?
No, Brad's going. I
That's
was
good.
the backup.
Boston, right? Yeah, Boston's a cool place.
Never been. That's
That's crazy.
actually-
To me,
I
you
actually
should've
wanted to
gone.
go. I actually wanted to go. I just didn't feel I was the best fit. I mean, I could do it. I just thought
Cass didn't ask
Brad
for
would-
the best fit. She just said who wants to go.
Chris,
Yeah,
you're
I
always a
understand.
good fit. You're always
Yeah,
a
man.
good fit.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Possible.
Unlikely.
Oh man, guys.
Cass, I sent you the link. If not, we wait for next time. I think this was good. Robert, I think you actually you took us to another level with the guest. I like that because we go off on a tangent. The guest
Yeah.
comes, brings us back,
Then we go back.
and then we have fun with something else afterwards.
Listen, guys, this was the whole reason why we did After Dark, right? And by the way, there's still a lot of people out there that are struggling, so we want to give this
More than ever, man.
we want to just give this lighthearted discussion and look, if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, reach out to us. We'll do that. We have a lot of success stories. I actually want to bring Colin Battles back on. Remember
Cass
him?
is on.
Yeah. Hey, Cass.
Cass,
Hey,
how's it
Cass.
going?
You.
You're on
What's
mute.
up, people?
But are you in Columbus?
It's really late. I'm not with my family right now, so this is what you do. Right on.
We go like once a month. Yeah, once a month we do After Dark. It was Robert's idea. I thought it would fail. But are you from Columbia right now? You're joining live from Columbia, or where are you?
Oh no, Orlando, Florida.
Orlando. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty close to
What's up,
Columbia.
guys?
Yeah.
Not too
It's good
far.
to see you guys. This was
Nice to see
hilarious.
Well, this is how they are.
Like we talk about fish, book recommendations, AI, and
Book
more
reco.
fish.
That Lyndon
FDA,
Johnson one is
I mean, you just never know where we're gonna go.
These
I
are the
love it.
2 book recommendations. Hold on, for today. We got Path to Power. For everyone that says there's no such thing as corruption in politics. Robert Caro's got 5 volumes of Lyndon Johnson, who didn't even care what party he represented. He just wanted power. And then you've got the new Sieber, Vinay Prasad, which I think is a must read, especially if you're in oncology, must read. If you're an oncology site, must read. So yeah, new book recommendations next time too.
That's amazing. Well, it's good to see you guys. I
Nice
mean,
to
I
see you
saw
too.
Chris virtually a couple of weeks ago
Mhm.
or a month now. But yeah, we're gonna have Brad, Judy, and Monica at the conference.
Ah, okay. I thought only Brad's. Okay, so you got all 3. Like you got half of SOS over there.
Yeah.
I asked if I could go in one of their suitcases, but they all denied it. So,
Aw,
Chris, you can still go, man. There's still time.
yeah, let's go, Chris. Let's make it happen.
yeah.
Never been to
Boston.
Boston. You have great
That's
insight.
crazy. You go to Kendall Square, you'll see all the biotechs there.
Very cool.
They're trading
can
pretty
share
low
the
right
fish-
now.
The fish story, Robert's
Fish-
fish story.
you can show the fish story to those biotechs. They'll trade even lower for the next couple of months.
Yeah, that's where my productivity goes.
Do
Thank you
Robert-
so much.
Did you know about this
Hiroki?
fish?
No, I've never heard about it.
Are you
That's
gonna
why I was
use it now?
watching I don't think so.
Imagine
Give it a
looking at this,
try.
like Cass, you're stressed. You look at this thing. Okay, this is a real lake somewhere, a river.
And when the fish comes by, Cass, the dopamine dump that you're gonna experience is just
you're gonna see a fish.
I mean, I guess we have to share the link for everyone then, so everyone can jump on it when they're feeling stressed.
Let's see. Visitor Bell. This is some European shit. Hold on.
We
I'll
we
put it
need
in
to
the
create
comments.
something like this for Guru Nation, where when people are bored, they can just come watch you guys chat all the time and relieve some stress.
At one point, I was thinking 24/7. Just go live. Here we go. Here's the link.
That's what I want. I would love Baby Sphera to come on. I mean,
He's a handful. 3
He's
months.
a-
Dan, when is Baby Sphera going to make the debut? You
I don't
think,
know.
like-
I think he's gonna have podcasting in him though, because he talks a lot.
oh,
Okay.
He tries to talk.
All right.
He argues with people. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a talker.
Argues, huh?
Yeah, he argues with his grandma. Cass, trust this is the purple dragon. Joey's the one that brings this nonsense to Guru Nation. So
I
your
know.
productivity goes down after dark episode. But this
Exactly.
is the link, guys.
I love
I'm
how
actually gonna
Robert
keep this
said.
link here.
I love how Robert said during the day, like it's like 2,000 plus attendees.
Oh, it
and
is.
watching. That's like so efficient, right? I wish
Yeah,
you
right
could
now-
put in like who's watching.
It's still
At that
475.
It's so ridiculous.
Wait, maybe I gotta accept cookies. Let's see. Yeah, 470.
That's so amazing.
That's 523 now.
Oh, 507. I didn't refresh.
It went up.
523.
Oh, there you go.
But Hiroki's insight on StudyOS, I've never heard of it before, and I just was
Pretty cool.
was really interested. And to know, Robert, that you on the sponsor side are using it too. Like, I had so many questions. Like, how are you using it? How often? For what type
Yeah.
of stuff? And to hear they're doing some stuff on the TMF front. So I already connected with him, and I'd love to have a chat.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I definitely recommend you getting in touch with him. And then, of course, I'm glad to talk with you offline and tell you all about it, how I use it. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I think it's where the industry's headed. I think, to your point, there's a lot of folks that don't even know how to use AI. And so to have someone like him that they're actually developing the technology to do it is exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Dan, I just sent you a song on Spotify. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
That is Joey on the lyrics on that song.
Dump it on me. Maybe we gotta go out with this one.
That's the song we got to go out to. If you can pull it up on the queue.
I don't know. Hopefully it's on YouTube.
I doubt it. You need Spotify.
Dump it on.
It has-
We're gonna
it has
go out
a-
with this. Cass, while I'm searching for this, what's your conference coming up?
Oh yeah. So we're tagging up with the SOS team, Save Our Sites. We're gonna have Monica, Judy, and Brad Hightower there, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Chris as well. But it's June 3rd and 4th in Boston, and it's a free event for those that register. And it's going to be focused on trial master file. So if you are on the sponsor side or the CRO side and really looking at strengthening your TMF via oversight and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing that we're going to be focusing on, which a lot of people want to talk about, is, of course, AI, but technology that's being developed for TMF management. So how to simplify TMF management using AI. So we got some stuff. I know, that's why I was like, Robert, we're going to have to chat. But there's a lot of that and practical. So we are going to have demos on how it's being utilized by sponsors and CROs currently to be able to simplify TMF management and the first pass of coding documents and stuff like that. So
I'm all about that, Cass. I want to talk to you about that as well because that's my alley.
Here we go.
I'm
We're
sorry,
gonna take this
Alicia.
out.
Alicia, it's
Oh, yeah.
already impacting
The fish convo, yeah, stop me from working. I'm not sharing this with my coordinators.
Yeah, it's a great thing, but
It's
yeah,
hard enough to get these guys on productivity. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go out with this. Hopefully, you can hear this.
bump it, Dan. This is amazing.
There we go, guys.
Big shout out to Joey.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Joey.
All right, guys.